Long before kingdoms carved borders into the earth and long before ships tamed the oceans, there existed a forgotten civilization that chose to abandon the dangers of the ground and rise into the endless blue above. Their story begins with a young hunter named Elyra, who lived in a time when forests were venomous. The earth shifted like restless animals, and colossal ground serpents hunted anything that walked. Humans survived in fear, always running, always hiding. But Elyra was different. She believed safety lay not in deeper caves or stronger walls, but higher, far above the reach of anything that crawled. One day, wounded and breathless, Elyra found herself cornered by a hunting serpent. As she crawled backward in desperation, she heard a strange hum vibrating through the air. Above her floated a boulder, smooth, pale, and impossible. It hovered silently, perfectly still, defying the pull of the world. Out of instinct, Elyra leaped and grabbed its edge. The moment her hands touched the stone, it responded to her heartbeat, rising slowly, lifting her out of danger as if acknowledging a master it had been waiting for. When she finally descended, she brought the strange floating stone back to her people. They called it cloudstone, a living mineral lighter than air yet strong as tempered bone. Elyra learned to shape it gently with heat and rhythmic tapping. Over time, she created platforms, narrow bridges, and simple gliders. Others joined her, and soon the first floating camp drifted above the forests, anchored by hanging vines. What began as a desperate escape became a revolution. Generations passed, and Elyra's small sky camp transformed into vast drifting districts. Entire communities lived on these cloudstone islands, connected by swaying rope bridges and humming air tunnels carved with wind patterns. Children learned to balance on narrow skypots before they learned to read. Houses were carved directly into cloudstone blocks, creating walls that shimmered faintly with captured sunlight. They harvested moisture from clouds, grew sky gardens on floating terraces, and rode windrafts across continents. Their mastery of the skies brought them knowledge no other people had. They learned to read shifting air currents like ancient scrolls. They studied storm creatures, massive sky whales, and cloud beasts that glided between thunderheads. They learned to predict storms weeks ahead and could travel from one horizon to another in days. They became known to Earth dwellers as the Skyborne, a people touched by the heavens. The Skyborne traded with mountain clans and ocean tribes, exchanging sky herbs, storm glass crystals, and rare cloudstone pieces the ground civilizations prized like jewels. Their neutrality made them respected mediators. From above, they watched lands rise and fall, wars begin and end, while they themselves remained untouched because no army could march into the sky. Yet envy always lurks where beauty thrives. Deep beneath the earth lived a hardened race known as the Terravores. They worshipped the sleeping giant beneath the crust, the great deep. The sky, to them, was sacred and forbidden, a realm of gods. When they saw the Skyborne carve homes among the clouds, they saw rebellion. They saw insult. They saw war. At first, the Terravores sabotaged trade routes, ambushing Skyborne emissaries, who descended to ground level. Then they attacked cloudstone mines nestled in high cliffs. The Skyborne retaliated from above, dropping resonance darts that shattered cavern roofs. Tension teetered on the edge of catastrophe, until the Terravores unveiled their most devastating creation, a colossal living construct, forged from ironstone and magma, called the Stone Leviathan. It was built for one purpose: to drag the sky out of the heavens. The Leviathan's first attack came at dusk. With massive weight chains, it latched onto an entire sky district, wrapping the chains around floating platforms and pulling downward with a force that cracked the cloudstone. Hundreds of Skyborne fell, disappearing into the clouds below. It was a tragedy unlike anything they had seen. What had seemed untouchable was suddenly vulnerable. The Skyborne responded by uniting their scattered districts for the first time in centuries. They gathered scholars, engineers, warriors, and windcallers. Together they crafted sky chariots powered by captured storm spirits and weapons, forged from storm iron, lightning-struck metal infused with raw energy. Their warriors, the Galewardens, rode into battle on reinforced windwings, weaving through storms as naturally as fish through water. The war between sky and earth lasted nearly 30 years. Storms raged unnaturally as both sides manipulated the weather. Entire floating cities were torn apart by ground-forged shockwaves. Mountain peaks cracked like glass under the weight of aerial bombardments. The Stone Leviathan hunted relentlessly, dragging down several sky districts. The Skyborne, in turn, shattered the Terravores' volcano foundries, forcing them deeper underground. But wars are not won only with strength, they are won with endurance. As time passed, cloudstone mines ran dry. Without fresh material, damaged districts could not be rebuilt. The Terravores, though brutal, were endlessly patient. They had carved their world from stone. They would carve the sky too if they had to. Both civilizations bled slowly, quietly, year after year. Then came the night of the Skyfall Gale. A storm formed unlike any the Skyborne had ever seen. Scholars insisted it was unnatural, too sudden, too violent, too vast. Winds sliced through cloudstone like blades. Lightning roared sideways. Entire sky cities were ripped in half. Some believed the Terravores had awakened the great deep to reshape the skies. Others believed the storm itself was alive. Whatever the truth, the Skyborne were not prepared. Floating districts collided mid-air, breaking apart in showers of shimmering debris. Gale wardens were swept away by winds that tore their wings into ribbons. Air whales fled in terror. The stone leviathan, caught in the same storm, was lifted from the mountains and hurled into the ocean, where it vanished forever. When dawn came, the sky was empty. Cloudstone fragments drifted like broken stars. Gardens, homes, bridges, platforms, everything was falling, falling, falling. Survivors leaped from collapsing islands onto makeshift gliders. Some reached distant mountain peaks. Others disappeared into uncharted winds. Entire families were separated. The Skyborne, civilization once the most graceful and unreachable, was shattered in a single night. Ground civilizations searched for them for centuries, finding only ruins on high cliffs and fragments of sky maps etched into broken stones. Some claimed the Skyborne migrated to the far side of the world where storms are born. Others whispered that they ascended even higher, into a realm above clouds where no human has ever returned from. And some legends say that on rare nights, when the wind is too soft, too warm, too alive, you can see faint lights drifting across the sky. Lights that move in patterns no cloud or star ever makes. Lights that seem to be searching for home, for history, or perhaps for the world they once ruled. The world remembers them only as a myth, but the sky remembers everything, and somewhere, hidden far above the reach of ground and storm, the Skyborne wait for the wind to call them home again.